Hey everyone, in this video we'll be learning the slope-intercept form of a line. So to start, find the y-intercept of y equals 3x plus 2. So the y-intercept is a point whose x-coordinate is 0. So we can substitute 0 in for x in our equation. So we have y equals 3 times 0 plus 2. So 3 times 0 is 0 plus 2, we get y equals 2. So the point 0, 2 is the y-intercept of this equation. What do you notice about the y-intercept and the equation of the line? Well, the y value was equal to the constant in the equation. Right, so the constant in the equation is 2, and the y-coordinate of the intercept was also 2. Now we have the graph of this line, 3x plus 2. What is the slope of the line? Well, if we look on the graph, right, we have our point here, we have a point here. So if you remember, slope equals rise over run, or change in y, which we write delta y, over change in x. Okay, so we go up 3 on the y-axis and over 1 on the x. So the slope is 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. What do you notice about the slope and the equation of the line? Well, the coefficient of the x was also 3. So the slope was equal to the coefficient of x. And that's how we're going to build slope-intercept form of a line. So to formally define it, slope-intercept form of a line, which is referred to as y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b gives the y-intercept of the line. Now remember, typically we want to write that y-intercept as a point, and it's not in the form of a point in our equation. Okay, y equals mx plus b is one of the easier ways to graph the equation of a line because we can very quickly figure out what the slope is and figure out what the y-intercept is and then start creating our graph. So below, state the slope and y-intercept of the given equations. So our first equation is y equals negative 4x plus 8. So the slope is the coefficient of x. So the slope, which we refer to as m, equals negative 4. And the y-intercept is the point, so our constant is 8, so 0, 8. For our next equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 5, our slope, which I'll just abbreviate now as m, is 2/3, that's the coefficient of x, and our y-intercept is the constant, 0, negative 5. Right, and we can easily confirm these y-intercepts from the previous video. Right, y-intercept is a point whose x-coordinate is 0. Plug in x to this equation for x, and we can very quickly see that in this case, y would be negative 5. In the previous example, y would be equal to 8. So write the equation of the line with the following properties. So the first example, a slope of 6 through the point 0, 11. So this is our slope. Our slope is 6. And our y-intercept is 0, 11. So that means our b in the y equals mx plus b form is 11. So our equation is y equals 6x plus 11. In our next example, a slope of negative 9 through the point 2, negative 1. So slope of negative 9. Now the issue is we don't know what our b value is. We don't have the y-intercept of this graph. We just have another point on the line. So what we can do is we can create the equation y equals negative 9x plus b, and we can use this point and the fact that this point has an x value of 2 and a y value of -1 to find the value of b. So we can substitute -1 in for y, 2 in for x, plus b. So we have -1 equals -18 plus b. So we can add 18 to both sides. So we have 17 equals b. So I can write the equation as y equals -9x plus 17. Now we're going to learn a more efficient way to write the equation of a line when we have the slope and a point that's not the y-intercept. But for now, our only option is to solve for the value of b. Now, what if we're given 2 points on a line? Given 2 points on a line, the slope can be calculated using the formula m equals the change in y, which is y2 minus y1, over the change in x, which is x2 minus x1. Right, so we can write this out, change in y over the change in x. And remember, this is often abbreviated delta y, delta representing change, over delta x. Okay, so determine the slope between the point 0, -2 and 4, 1. Okay, so m equals. So we'll call this x1, y1, and this x2 and y2. So we have 1 minus -2 over 4 minus 0. So subtracting a negative makes it 1 plus 2 over 4 minus 0 is just 4. So we have 3 over 4. That's the slope between these 2 points. Now write the equation of the line between those same 2 points. So right away, I'll just write down the fact that we found the slope to be 3 over 4, and then we're asked to graph the line. Okay, so the nice thing here is this is the y-intercept, which tells us that our b value in y equals mx plus b is going to be -2. So the equation of this line is y equals 3 over 4x minus 2. So going to graph this line, we're going to graph a y-intercept at 0, -2, slope of 3/4, so up 3 boxes, to the right 4 boxes, up 3 boxes, to the right 4 boxes. Now to get a point in the other direction, we just have to reverse it. So instead of going up, we'll go down 3 and then to the left 4. I'll use the line tool so that we have a straight line here through all of our points. So that is the graph of y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Okay. The slope is also called the average rate of change. So this is vocabulary that you will hear often, especially as this course continues to proceed or you get into higher level math courses. Okay, so if you're ever asked to find the average rate of change between 2 points, all you're doing is finding the slope. So find the average rate of change between -4,3 and 8,6. So all we gotta do is remember that average rate of change means slope. So we have x1, y1, we have x2, y2. So our slope is 6 minus 3 over 8 minus -4. So that gives us 3 in the numerator. 8 plus 4 is 12. So that reduces to be 1 over 4. Okay, so the average rate of change between these 2 points is 1/4. Now write the equation of the line between those same 2 points. So again, I'll just start by writing that the slope was 1/4. Now we'll notice that neither of these points is the y-intercept. So we are not sure what our b value is. So we can solve for b. So we have y equals 1/4 x plus b. And we could choose either of these 2 points. Let's choose the first. So this is x, this is y. We can use it to solve for b. So we'll substitute 3 in for y, -4 in for x, plus b. So 1/4 times -4 is -1, plus b. Add 1 to both sides. 4 equals b. So the equation of our line is y equals 1/4 x plus 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our y-intercept. Slope of 1/4. So up 1 to the right 4. Up 1 to the right 4. Going the opposite direction, down 1 to the left 4. Down 1 to the left 4. And now we'll graph our line through our points. So there's the graph of y equals 1/4 x plus 4. Graph the line 3x plus 2y equals -12. So we've done a similar type problem where we found the x and y-intercept, but now in this example, let's put this in y equals mx plus b form. So I'll start by subtracting 3x from both sides. So we have 2y equals -3x minus 12. Divide both sides by 2. Now we don't want it to stay like this, so we'll divide each term by 2. So it's going to be -3 over 2x, and then 12 divided by 2 is 6. Hey, don't just divide the 12 by 2. Remember, we're dividing each individual term by 2. So now that we have our equation, y-intercept is -6, 0, -6, and the slope is -3 over 2. So we'll go down 3 to the right 2. Now we've run out of grid, so we'll work in the reverse direction. So instead we'll go up 3 to the left 2, up 3 to the left 2, up 3 to the left 2, up 3 to the left 2. That should be sufficient. Now we'll connect our points with a straight line. And there we have the graph of y equals -3 over 2x minus 6. And if we wanted to check that we graphed it correctly or even solved it correctly, again, we can find the x and the y-intercept of this equation and verify that they're the correct x and y-intercept of our graph. Write the equation of the line that passes through the points in part A, 4, 11, and 4, -8. We have 2 points, we're missing a slope. So we'll start by finding the slope between these 2 points. So slope is change in y over change in x. So -8 minus 11 over 4 minus 4 gives us -19 over 0. But remember, we cannot divide by 0. That's undefined division. So the slope between these 2 points is undefined. Now, what type of lines have undefined slopes? That would be vertical lines. And vertical lines have equations like x equals 10 or x equals -1. Now, to figure out what the equation of this vertical line is, let's look more closely at the 2 points we were given. So the first point has an x value of 4. The second point has an x value of 4. So the equation of the vertical line that passes through these 2 points is x equals 4. Now you may have noticed that before you even went to find the slope. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, that's a good observation. And if you came up with x equals 4 directly from the points that we were given, that's great. For part B, the points are -3, 9 and 4, 9. Now, you might already see what the equation is. Let's go through the process of finding the slope first. So change in y, 9 minus 9, over change in x, 4 minus -3. So we have 0 divided by 7. So if we're dividing 0 by 7, we would get 0. So the slope of the line is 0. Now, horizontal lines have a slope of 0. And horizontal lines have equations like y equals 8 or y equals -2. So we have to look more closely at the points we were given to figure out the equation of this line. So the first point has a y value of 9. The second point has a y value of 9. So the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points is y equals 9. And again, you may have seen that just by looking at the 2 points, and that's fantastic. Write the equation of the line below in slope-intercept form. Okay, so first thing, there's our y-intercept. Right, so our y-intercept is the point 0, 7. So that means that b is equal to 7. And then we need our slope. So I see that this is a nice point. So looking at our slope, we go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 4, so -4. And then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope, right, change in y over change in x, is -4 over 5. So the equation of the line then in y equals mx plus b form is y equals -4 over 5x plus 7. Okay, so there we have our slope-intercept form of a line, right? It's pretty nice to graph because all we need is our slope and our y-intercept, and then we can graph. But sometimes it's a little bit more challenging if we're given 2 points. Neither of those points are the y-intercept. We have to do a little bit of extra solving in order to find the b value in our equation. In the next video, we're going to look at how to do that a little bit differently.